there, it's Krista Watson from Krista Quilts, back with more free motion quilting designs for you to try. Today we're going to do two designs that are very closely related. The first one is called Scrollwork and the second one is Echoed Curls. Now both of these designs can be found in my book, 99 Machine Quilting Designs. In fact, just about every single design in that book can be found on this quilt behind me, but more about that later at the end of the video. For now, grab a copy of the book, put together a little practice quilt sandwich and your sketchbook to sketch it out before you quilt it. Follow along with me for some free motion fun. Scrollwork and Echoed Curls are designs number 56 and 57 in the book. Scrollwork is like the start of a mini spiral, and then I backtrack and I go off in a different direction to create really elegant vines and scroll looking designs. Now the hard part about this design is it's a little bit slow because as I go around and stitch it out or sketch it out, I'm switching directions. I'm not necessarily going in an opposite direction, but I'm branching off of each little C, and then I'm backtracking or stitching on top of a previous line of stitching to fill in all the shapes. Now with this design, it can get a little bit linear, meaning it might feel like I'm kind of going in one direction. So at some point I have to branch off and go in different directions. Because this is kind of slow, I may not fill in this entire area as I'm sketching, but I will show you what it looks like as I stitch it out on a practice sample. This is one of those designs that I can make large scale or small scale, and again, it can add a little bit of elegance. So as I'm doing this little C shape, stitching back on a previous line, and trying to think about moving around all the area as I go. If I get a little stuck, I can just stop, think about where I need to go in the next direction, and continue to fill in all the spaces. When free motion quilting Scrollwork, my feed dogs are dropped so I can stitch in any direction. I'm also using a specialty free motion foot with an open toe so I can get a better view while I'm stitching. I'm quilting C shapes and then backtracking or stitching on top of a previous line so that I can form the next vine and scroll motif. Now this is more of a dense design and it goes a little slower, so I probably wouldn't quilt it from edge to edge across an entire quilt. Rather, I would save it for special areas of a quilt or to use in a smaller background area to highlight another larger design. So as I'm stitching, I'm thinking about all the things I need to do to quilt smoothly and evenly. My gloves can help grip the quilt so it can give me a little bit more push as I move around the sample without any extra strain on my hands. My sewing table that I'm using, it allows my machine to drop all the way down so that it sits flush with the top of the quilt table so that the surface area I'm stitching around is large and flat and smooth. The acrylic insert for my machine is very slick so that my quilt doesn't get hung up while I'm smushing it around underneath the machine. As I'm stitching, I'm aiming for a smooth, fluid movement, and I'm comfortable pushing through it a little bit faster to keep up with the speed of my machine. So really, free motion quilting is all about creating a nice rhythm with your hands relative to how fast your machine wants to stitch. Now, a stitch regulator can also help you if you have one of those. My machine does come with one, but I rarely use it because I learned how to quilt without one, so I'm fine with that. I'm just going to continue to quilt this scrollwork design until I filled in about half of my sample. For a faster variation of the scrollwork design, you can do a design that I call Echo Curls, and it's exactly what it seems like. I start off with the little scrollwork design and then I echo it. I might miss one every now and then, and that's okay because the two designs can be combined together. And it might look like little fern tails or little feathers or anything, you know, let your imagination run wild. But it's just a little bit curly, it's a little bit scrolly. It's kind of like the beginning part of a spiral or just the center center part of a spiral. It's very elegant. Again, you can draw it any size you want. You can always throw in a couple spirals if you want to, but you want these little C shapes and you want to just keep on going. The more that I talk, sometimes I don't think too much as I'm stitching, but that's the beauty of this handcrafted free motion designs. I'm going to echo my way back out, because as long as you're filling in all the spaces and adding wonderful texture, it doesn't matter if your designs are totally perfect. This is what I call perfectly imperfect machine quilting, and I really love it. Now, I haven't done this one on a whole quilt, but it makes a great textural design to fill in interesting spaces. Echoed curls is basically the same motif as the scrollwork design that I just showed you. However, as the name implies, I'm echoing or quilting next to a previous line of stitching to make the design bigger and stand out a bit more. This makes the design also a little easier and faster to stitch. So when in doubt, echo your lines to give them a little more pizzazz. As you quilt, try not to overthink things too much. Just remember, when you're 2 inches away from your quilt, you're going to see all the imperfections, especially when quilting with a highly contrasting thread like you see here. But if you just take your time, spend lots of time practicing and using a blending thread, that's going to significantly improve the way it looks. And just remember, you'll see a gap in the design before you ever notice the imperfections, especially when viewing this quilt as a whole. So just continue practicing this design as well as all of the other designs I'm sharing with you in this video series. My recommendation is to quilt 1 practice sample a day for about 4 to 5 days in a row, and you'll really see a huge improvement in design. So I'm just going to continue with my scrolls and my C's and my little vines until I fill in all the spaces. Ta-da! Here's my finished sample of scrollwork and echoed curls. Well, what did you think? I think those designs are super elegant and they look great when custom quilted on a large quilt, just like the one you see behind me. This quilt is one of my patterns called Swanky Spirals, and it's such a riot of pattern and color and texture. So I custom quilted this by switching up quilting motifs in every section of the block. However, it was a lot easier to do than it looks because I was using the same color thread throughout. If you want to learn more about how I quilted this, be sure to check out the description box where I have a video showing how I maneuvered this large quilt under a regular machine. In fact, make sure you check out all of my bonus content. There is a link to the playlist for the entire series, as well as an introductory video that's going to get you started. So if you have any questions as you're watching, be sure to leave a comment and I look at them and I reply all the time. Just remember to quilt at your own pace and you get better with each one that you do. I'll see you in the next video.